Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Since undergoing the treatment under his uncle Maester Daemon's care, Lister had not once caught sight of his own reflection. Neither had he really wanted to. However, no matter how hard he tried to avoid it, he knew he could not run forever, and at some point he would have to face the harsh reality of his deformity. Finding the strength from within, he took a large gulp of wine and walked over to the mirror that hung in his quarters. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. On the count of 3, Lister, come on, you can do this. Just do it, you craven. 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, he opened his eyes. This was the first time he had gazed at his own reflection since Daemon had removed his bandages. He knew he was grotesquely disfigured, however that still didn't prepare him for what he was about to see. Staring back at him was a man he did not recognise, let alone one he remembered. Banging his hands on the basin, he threw his head downwards. A single tear began to stream down his cheek. It stung as it slid across the weeping tissue. "What a monster I've become," he uttered in a disheartening tone. His heart sank, denial coursed deeply through him. Taking a deep breath, Lister once again raised his head to gaze at his reflection. He slowly began to raise his hands to explore his face. He traced his fingers lightly through all the deep crevices. He couldn't help but reflect on his previous facial features and how drastically different they now were. He would never have described himself as a beautiful man, but nor was he unfortunate looking either. His skin prior was a slightly lighter tone than ivory. Dotted across his face a few blemishes like many boys his age. He had smooth blonde curls which just sat past his dimpled chin. His hazel eyes were lively, warm, and sparkled with bliss when he smiled. Lister really was unrecognisable. His face was dull in colour. It had aged him greatly. His skin was filled with numerous chasms with jagged edges outlined from where tainted flesh had been chopped away. The remaining flesh weeped with pus following an infection that Lister had incurred. A putrid odour filled what remained of his nose. His eyes were now full of sadness and darkness. Lister could not remember the last time a smile had graced his face. Never had he felt so lost and so afraid. He remembered the first time his lady wife had visited him. He remembered the way she winced at the mere sight of him, the look of disdain and disgust laid plastered all over her face. Alyssa of course tried to hide behind her courtesies. She attempted to remain kind and gracious, but Lister was not fooled. He could see how she tried her best to avoid his gaze. She was repulsed by him. Any attraction she may have once had towards him had now diminished. Their marriage was as good as over. He could see that. This is why Lister had recently sought company outside his marital bed, his latest endeavour being at the last tourney where he had entertained a low-born girl inside his tent. She was kind to him. She would look into his eyes and smile, even putting a gentle hand upon his cheek as she kissed him. She did not treat him like a monster, unlike many noble lords and ladies who attempted to avoid any and all contact with the king. Lister couldn't help but feel isolated and alone. Is this how he would be remembered? Lister the monstrous? Lister the ugly? Lister the disfigured? He took one more long gaze at his reflection as all time froze and said a silent prayer to the Mother above. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Grand Northern Kingdom of Andalia, where we are playing as King Lister, now the 17-year-old king. We did get over our rabies and whatever else was wrong with the poor sod by unfortunately undergoing a surgery which made us lose half of our face, which is not great, but never mind, it's better than being dead, isn't it? So it's better than nothing. We had all the great coronations and tourneys and such in the previous episodes, as well as some of our lords now changing to the Red God for some reason. No idea why Joa has done that, but I suppose he is a lunatic, so it makes sense in a way. The North are at war with somebody. I'm not sure who. Let's have a look. Okay, no, they're not at war with anyone. So what's going on up here? Are they just fighting amongst themselves? Ah, yes. So the Hill clans are fighting amongst themselves, which is fine. I've just noticed that the Wildlings have yet again taken a lot of land into several small kingdoms, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. Why have we got some men, an Andalian army, risen over here? No idea. But yeah, we're going to unpause and we're going to get straight into the episode to see what happens. It'd be nice to have a bit of peace for a time, but we'll see. Peace never seems to last too long, does it? But hopefully peace will last in the realm for King Lister. Hopefully we can get ourselves a son and heir as soon as possible. I think on the decisions we were going to go on a foreign tour, but I think we have to be 18 to do that. And once we can, we will be doing that, as it will be really interesting to do. At the age of 57, acquaintance Harlan Stark died a natural death. Okay, the father of the current queen. Okay, fair enough. So someone fairly important, I suppose, half important. And Lord Lucan of Maidstone has been beheaded on the orders of Lady Pera Blackwood. Interesting. And Lord John the Unready decided to exile Arwen Rook. Now, isn't that his, like, son's wife or something? He's got a new wife, speaking of wives. A Reed. Okay, he's married Branda Reed, which is interesting. And they have had a daughter, Alysanne Seymour. Okay, interesting. But who is Arwen Rack? She... yeah, Sir Norbert, the formidable fighter. Is he the heir? I don't think he is the heir, is he? No, Enger's the heir, of course. So it's one of his younger sons. I didn't realise he was a formidable fighter. Nice. But now, unfortunately, the poor sod's wife has been exiled, which is interesting. But I suppose we all know that John the Unready is a complete and utter tool. But this guy's very interesting. Can we invite him to court? Yes, we can. Let's invite Sir Norbert Seymour to court. He can bring his lady wife with him here. I don't think she's... doesn't seem like there's much wrong with her. She's not got any lovers or anything like that, so I don't know why he's been exiled. Oh my god, they've named their son John Seymour. That's a bad omen. But yeah, Sir Norbert Seymour's a very impressive fighter. Sir Enger's pretty decent, as well as Pyron, who is obviously married to our sister. On some pause, let's see what other stuff is about to kick off. Let's see if Danes decides to kick off yet again in this episode. It'll be interesting to know what's going to happen there. I don't think we really have much in the way of factions to worry about. We've got a lot of Crown Loyalists again, which is nice. Okay, and now Danes is going for Prince Owen for Andalia for no reason at all, and someone's going for Prince Enger for Andalia for no reason at all. So that's interesting. And the Jogus Nye Harlaw for, oh my god, Lord Norse, interesting, is going for independence at age 43. Your subject Tremon was beheaded by Hugh Royce of Runes. Okay, so he's beheaded his maester, which is interesting. I wonder why. Best on you and your house, I accept your gracious invitation. It looks like his lady wife has also arrived in our court, which is good. Well, you can have your lady wife here. You're a decent fighter. Regional tourney wins 1 and a grand tourney 3rd place. Decent. This guy's not bad. We could award him an honorary title if there was one. He could fit into the bodyguards pretty well, but at present they are all full up, so there's no room for him at present. Prince Moore's Widowmaker ransomed someone. Yeah, that's not too much that we need to concern ourselves about. I am worried about this Relore. It isn't spreading, is it? No, thankfully it's still Faith of the Seven there. Oh, nice. Barroton is actually a holy site. I know it's a holy site for the old gods, but it's good in our lore that it would be a holy site for the Faith of the Seven, considering how pious, of course, the Fyrehands are. Although Harrion is a massive, massive improvement on some of the previous Fyrehands in the way of not being a completely cruel, vicious person, and his son Winton Firehand looks decent as well with that strong trait, so hopefully we've got another future decent Firehand. And the Lords of the Trident have approved the institution of the medium realm authority. Perfect, so we've managed to increase realm authority throughout Andalia. I know it said the Trident, but it's just how it works for all of Andalia, whichever one you change. We're not 18 yet, are we, either, which is a shame, so we still can't do a whole lot. We need this infection to go away desperately so that we can finally recover. Prince Enger, our heir, is yet to have a bride, but he's a very interesting character. Let's arrange a betrothal rather than going on to here though and searching for spouses. Let's actually go onto the fine characters, and we will look in our realm, keep it local, and we want our religion. Don't have to be our culture, because they could be a Riverman or a Valeman. We want them to be unmarried, and of course we want a female. A female, there we go, right. Let's go on age, and we'll go from age down. Let's... castle holding has been constructed in Sunrise Keep. Okay, so Danes the Wise is constructing castles, which is interesting. He's really putting a lot of money into his land. How old is Enger? Enger is 13, so we can go for someone around that age with some decent traits. Your Grace, for some time now I've been in the employ of Lady Selene, but now I seek a better station. Let's have a look at you. Pate Stone, skilled fighter, sturdy, House Hull. Sure, why not? Yeah, sure. We'll make use of you. We'll find you a marriage in a second. Let's just... And a castle holding has been finished in Hardvale. Okay, so... That's interesting. Let's go back to Enger, as we were. And we'll just pause while we do this. Let's have a look who we've got. So we've got Melissa Hyatt, but she is a bastard. She's around his age. I'm looking for someone with some decent traits like we found for Lister's wife. We've got a couple of Seymours. We've got a Stark. Definitely don't want to Stark. They are our culture and such, though. A Waynwood. Nothing that much in the way of decent traits, though. Got to be some with some decent traits down here. I want someone from a noble house, if possible. Doesn't have to be the biggest, most powerful house, but someone decent. We've got a hunter here. No, not overly good. Oh, Arwen Lancer in Hagsmire, who is a giant and just authoritative, slothful, and zealot. Okay, she's only... Oh, she's 2... Oh, no, that's Prince Owen. We're on Prince Owen. She's 2 years older than Enger. 1 year older than Enger, sorry, but she does have that giant trait. We've got a genius trait for one wife, so that's a definite possibility. She's my preferred one so far. Decent martial. So let's have a look if there's any others. There's a Viper in here with the attractive trait. Doesn't seem to be many others. It's a Highstar with the quick trait. Torissa Highstar, but we don't want to go too inbred. Oh, Mina Sevenstar, but she's 16. She's 3 years older. There's also a Crownless. Oh, wow, who's pretty impressive. Grenna Crownless. Oh, but she is disfigured from Grayscale. There's a Corporate. Do you know what? I might go for... Mina Sevenstar for Enger. I know she's a little bit older, but let's do that. So let's arrange a betrothal between her and Prince Enger. Send. And then for Owen... Let's go for that younger girl that we just seen. Let's go for the Lancer for Owen. Where is she? There she is. Arwen Lancer. She's only 2 years older than him. Arranged betrothal between her and Prince Owen. Perfect. So that's 2 nice matches now for our younger brothers. At the age of 28, your subject Allah was slain by Nana Harlaw in personal combat. Interesting. And, oh right, okay, so she's the wife of our father, Sir Ambrose, his new wife. And she's been slain by... That's interesting. Sir Victorian of the Cape of Eagles of House Reef has died a natural death, apparently, at the age of 47. That's a shame. At least he had a son, though. How is his son, while we're looking at that? He's only 1 year old, so Robin of Cape of Eagles. My God, so that's dangerous for House Reef, down to their final member now. But hopefully they can recover from that. They do have a... I think he did have a sister, though, didn't he? Yeah, so there's 2 members, technically. Blessed on you and your house, I've decided to accept your suggestion of a betrothal between Prince Enger and Mina Sevenstar. Perfect. Very interesting. From the blue branch of House Sevenstar. It's been a while since we've had any marriage to them. I think, is that actually a descendant of Lister? So her father is Sir Enger Sevenstar. Master Oliver. Yes, it is. It's Sir Lister's... Oh, God. Sir Lister the Loyal's granddaughter, I believe. Yes, Sir Lister the Loyal's granddaughter. Interesting. Great-granddaughter, in fact. Wow. God, so much time has passed by. I forget how old he was. Blessed on you and your house, I've decided to accept the suggestion of betrothal between Prince Owen and Arwen Lancer. So Arwen Lancer, Sir Norbert Lancer, Mordain Lancer. Interesting. So not of Benfrey's line, but she's got that interesting trait. Why not? We found some good brides from different houses. Try and water that blood down a little bit, because it is very, very dangerously inbred. Okay guys, so we're back. I've forwarded a little bit of time along, but nothing's really happening. We've got a great amount of peace at the moment, which is good. So we're just going to keep going with that. Wait till we're 18 and we can do stuff. At the age of 44, your subject Benefit died of severe stress. I think he's just a maester by the looks of it. Yes, he is. Betrothed can marry Prince Enger of Andalia, and his lady, well, his future bride, Mina Sevenstar, can now marry. So yes, let's get that underway. She's got some decent traits, content and attractive, which is interesting. She's got very good diplomacy. Yeah, nice. So we'll go with that. When are we going to turn 18 so we can go on this tour? Danes. Oh, Danes Corpory has transferred vassal contract of Peter Sheringham to Edrew Hunter. He's also transferred some other vassals. Interesting. So Danes is up to stuff as always. He's now doing some others. I'm always worried about what he's up to. I suppose he did create a couple of new lands and such. Peace with you. I I accept your suggestion that Prince Engar and Mina get married. Perfect. Hopefully Engar will come of age soon, so we get to see what his adult picture looks like. Leslin Crescent died from too much drinking. Okay, I don't think she's an overly important crescent. Prince Engar Sevenstar and Mina Sevenstar have got married, and it is customary for a dowry to be paid to the groom's house. So Lister shall be asked for the dowry. No, people respect wealth. Do you know what? We've got plenty of wealth, so we won't even ask for a dowry. We've got plenty of money. We make an insane amount of money. Let's try and keep these vassals loyal. The Sevenstar, well, that was a different branch of Blue Sevenstar, wasn't it? That was from Lister's house, which is interesting. I wonder if we'll be allowed to change any more laws and such just yet. Council power is empowered. We need to change that. Diplomacy, ruler. Perfect. Obligations, realm. Aha, we can now change the realm. This is for the Kingdom of Andalia. We want the higher one, the crown of the Lord of the Kingdom. Yeah, let's go for medium realm authority. Let's keep trying to get this stronger. Slavery is illegal. Good. Controlled realm inheritance illegal. First knight illegal. Yes, everything's looking good there. We want to keep improving that authority, as we did lose a lot of authority, as we know. What's going on down south? Not much, I think. It's pretty much the Westerlands, Dawn, and Stormland, so there's only the 3 kingdoms. Literally 5 kingdoms, including the north. I always forget about the north, as it's just so weak now, isn't it? And so irrelevant. Let's hold a feast. Why not? We've got some money. Let's try and improve our relations with our vassals even more. Why not? See what we can do there. Our lady wife doesn't have a great opinion of us. Is that because of our scar, I'm guessing? Yes, attraction to infection and disfigurement. Yeah, so that's not great. At age of 10, okay, a random wildling has been killed in Northland, so I'm guessing the new lord of the Northlands, Lord Colin Crownless, who's, well, let's be honest, a little bit crap compared to his father. Looks like he's killing... He's got 4 of the sins, which is interesting. At the age of 54, your acquaintance Prince Pyron of the Rivers and Hills died of cancer. The best part about preparing for a feast is deciding what food stuff. Let's spend lavishly on food. Let's try and impress our guests. It's even harder to do so now that we're disfigured. Not that it should matter, but you know what people are like. Because of that, it lowers everyone's opinions of us. We can buy a mask, but I'm not going to do that. I don't think it would make sense for Lister to buy a mask. I don't think he's going to be that vain, if I'm honest. While pondering over the guest list for the feast, I wonder if I should invite my friend Sir Darnold. Well, of course we should. He's our friend, of course. Our genius friend, who's also a lunatic, and who's married to a Malester with cancer. Ouch. Well, that marriage isn't going to last too long, is it? That would have been a good marriage as well. Dear Hiking Lister, I thank you for your invitation, but I will not be able to attend your feast. In fact, I refuse to set foot in the same castle as you, Lady Alyssane the Rash. Well, I don't like you either. Dear Hiking Lister, I thank you for the invitation, but I will not be able to attend your feast. In fact, I refuse to set my foot in the same castle as you. Respectfully, Lord Danes. See how it is. And okay, the Lord of Bear Island also is willing to join. Oh, and so are a lot of the Iron Islands. That's fine. Dear High King Lister, I thank you for the invitation, but I will not be able to attend the feast. In fact, I refuse. Lord Pegleg, why do you dislike us so much? Because we're a foreigner, apparently. Now you're a first man, and you desire the High Lordship of the Crone's Crossing, and because we've increased Crown Authority, that's fine. Don't turn up. As long as my loyalists turn up. The greatest people in the realm. I am now worried about you, though. Now you've refused, and we've been trying to improve relations with you. You've not got any new factions popped up, have we? No, just the ones by the usual. That's fine. At least we've got the Crown Loyalist still, which is good. We don't have any plots. There's a lot of known plots. Let's just check there's nothing against us. I can't see the 7-star sigil anywhere, so hopefully we're safe after we ended that one in the last episode. Yeah, it seems that we're safe, so that's good. That's fine. Let's get things rocking for our feast then. Hey, what's going on down here? Not again. Please, not again. He's not gone to war again, has he? Okay, he's calling in his banners. It looks like he's going for Strong Song this time, which is interesting. Can we command you to end this war? We can. Due to the level of realm authority in Andalia, this command will not be legally binding. This means Lord Danes Corbury can ignore your request without any legal consequence. Well, let's do it. Your Grace, I will of course obey your will and end the war as commanded. Please take this as a sign of my continued loyalty. Okay. My God, does that mean he's got a claim on Redfort and the Belmore lands now? Oh my God, he's got a strong claim on the High Lordship of Redfort, a strong claim on the High Lordship of the Giant's Lance. When did he get that one? A strong claim on the High Lordship of Strongsong, a strong claim on the Lordship of Crow's Baron, and a strong claim on the Lordship of the Eyrie, as well as all these little castles and such. I am absolutely terrified of this guy. He is so dangerous. When I opened the door, I saw no one, but as I stepped aside to close it, a group of acrobats cartwheeled, somersaulted, and tumbled in. They performed all sorts of tricks, and everyone watching exploded into applause when they finished. They would be perfect for my feast. Yes, they would. The Lords of Andalia have approved the institution of the medium realm authority law. Perfect. That's good. We will gain full control back over the realm. The guests have finally arrived in Sevensport. They have been given bread and salt, as is their guest right. All is now ready. The cooks have worked day and night preparing the food, and our stock of autumn beer has been replenished, and the palace has never looked lovelier. Perfect. Welcome to my feast, my lords and ladies. I rushed around trying to get everyone to work harder, making sure everything was ready for the feast. I waited impatiently for my friend Sir Darnold to arrive, but still did my best to make sure every guest felt welcome and found their designated place at the high table. He was the last to arrive, but it improves our opinion of each other because he has turned up. And perfect, your grace, I have collected an ample tax revenue in Sevensport. The money should be with you with this letter. Your humble master of coin, Sir Ermin Blue. Wow, 142 gold. Nice. Very nice. Eleanor Tollett has used her attendance at the feast in Sevensport to present a petition for justice before the court. She claims that Lady Elena Belmore had one of her kinsmen murdered and demands that she is brought to justice for this outrageous crime. Okay, Eleanor Tollett. Well, let's have a look at Lady Elena the Vengeful. Has she killed a Tollett? Well, apparently not, because she's only got the Belmore guy. Or are you related to the Belmore? The Broom guy. No, you're not. So she's not guilty. I'd rather keep our High Lords on side, to be honest. Septim Wayne has been a leal and able servant, having successfully completed many tasks in the aid of Andalia. It will be seen as a right and honourable cause to reward him with certain grants of income. Okay, wow, 142 gold. That's a lot of gold, but we do make a lot of gold. Some of my guests did not seem satisfied with the food, but I would never have expected one of them to complain out loud. Lazy Sansa said a lot of nasty stuff about the food, and I couldn't help but feel irritated. Lady Sansa Firehand, our courtier, she's the one married to Daffin Darkblade, isn't she? Yes, they're an interesting couple. If you don't have anything nice to say, then shut up. Yeah, you tell them, Lister. Shut up. We are 18 now, though, so we hopefully will be able to now go on a foreign tour. Is not ill. We have to wait until we get better first. So we've got to wait for that infection to pass, and then we'll be able to go on a foreign tour. The last of the guests have returned home, and everyone agreed it was this year's greatest feast. Perfect. That's improved a lot of people's opinion of us. I do want to go on a foreign tour. We've not yet been on a foreign tour, and I feel like Lister would especially be the sort of king who would like to go on such a thing. Hofer Snowfall is called in a favour on Waymore Longthorpe. Who's Hofer Snowfall? Oh, nice. Hofer Snowfall. Interesting. So there are still... And Belvazar Snowfall. So there are still a Snowfall around. This guy actually looks like a bit of a beast. So that's interesting. Very interesting. Let's make him important, considering he is the heir of the Snowfalls. Hi, King Lister Sevenstar. I hereby invite you to participate in the tourney of Silver Spear. Yeah, why not? We'll go. It's only an infection we've got. We can take part. It's always good to take part in tourneys. We probably won't do very well. Even though we're a decent fighter, we've still not been knighted, which is our ambition. At the age of 49, our subject Miranda has murdered on the orders of Lord Caven of Stilfen. Okay, it's not really overly important. The local septum wants to organise a miracle play for the pious in our demesnes. They seem to feel that it should fall on our shoulders to pay for it. It is for the glory of the gods. It is the faith. If the faith wants it, the faith has to pay. No, if it's for the gods, we'll pay. Why not? We've got plenty of coin. Your Grace, the Kingdom of Vale has currently no incumbent separate from the crown. I petition that I should be made overlord of this region as your most loyal and able bannerman. Very well. Lord Daney's Wise is granted Kingdom of the Vale. I don't fucking think so. No chance. Or let me think denied. Lord Daney's opinion of King Lister changes by -30. It will be disappointed, and he may inform his supporters who will think ill of you for withholding this lordship. And who is... Wow, he's got a lot of supporters. Who supports it? Lord Yorick of Templeton, Lord Elbert Sunderland, Lady Russell Snowfall, and Lord Royce. Wow, a lot of people are actually backing him. No, denied. I'm sorry, Danis. There's no way I'm giving you the Vale. I know what will be coming after that. You'd be Lord Protector, let you increase your power and influence even more, and then before we know it, you'd be going for freaking independence. Lady Betha the Shadow revoked the city of Fairmarket from Tion. Well, Tion's just a randomer anyway, so yeah, whatever, that's fine. Lady Betha the Shadow revoked the city of Fairmarket from Tion. Lady Betha the Shadow revoked the city of Fairmarket from Tion. Lady Betha the Shadow revoked the city of Fairmarket from Tion. Lady Betha the Shadow revoked the city of Fairmarket from Tion. Work has become boring and the hours of the day drag on. Diligence may be a virtue, but is exhausting. We lose the trait diligent. Well, that's infuriating because diligent is such a good trait. So it's very annoying that we've lost that. When are we going to lose this freaking infection? I want to know. The tourney of Silverspear. After arriving at Silverspear, the first day of the tourney began in earnest. You tilted against many lesser knights throughout the day, most of whom you unhorse easily. Now in the coming days, the final rounds of the list begin, and the opposition shall surely be more fierce. I shall ready my horse. Let's have a go. Let's see what we can do. The Tourney Herald announces the competitors of the next joust. You have been joined against Sir Alan Oxter. Let's have a look at him. Well, he's a skilled fighter like us. Hopefully we can get the better of him though, so let's go for it. As you close in on your opponent, you see an opening. You deftly guide your lance into strike while evading their charge. Hit. Oh, are we actually going to get through a round for once? That would be interesting. Sir Alan Oxter took the full force of your lance and was sent reeling and only managed a glancing blow upon your armour. He almost fell off but managed to regain his balance and round the other end of the list, ready for another tilt. Bollocks. Come on, Lister. Come on. Your opponent got the... Oh, here we go. Your opponent got the better of you and you met in the centre of the list. Your lance merely makes a glancing blow on the armour while his lance hits true. Whilst at the tourney in Silverspear, you have been spending much time in your pavilion with a beautiful local girl of common birth. She is asking to come back home with you to Sevensport. Okay. Andal Northman, Eglantin. Are we chaste? I don't think we have chaste, do we? Charitable, temperate, kind. We've lost diligent and humble. We have lost diligent. This keeps happening, so even though I don't really want to do it, this must keep happening for a reason. He is having all of these women in his pavilion, so maybe he is a little bit lustful. Who knows? Let's take her back then as our lover. We've got a lover. Let's see. Our wife doesn't like us, so let's see what happens there. The blow from Sir Alan Oxter's lance sends you reeling and you struggle to stay on your horse. The crowd gasps it, setting you to fall. However, you maintain your grip, bringing your mount around the other side. Oh, perfect. We actually managed to stay a horse. Oh no, but now they've hit us properly this time. Well, if we're going to lose, can you just finish us off or let us go through rather than it going on and on and on and on. The Tourney Herald announces the competitors of the next joust. You have been drawn. Oh, we got through, and we've been drawn against Lord Benfrey Lancer. Oh no! You mount your charge, take a lance from your squire, and ride to the end of the tilt, as Lord Benfrey does likewise. Yeah, we've got no chance here, have we? We'll be lucky if we don't get killed. Your opponent got the better of you when you met in the centre of the list. Your lance merely makes a glancing blow on their armour, while their lance hits true. The blow from Lord Benfrey Lance's lance sends you reeling, and you struggle to stay on your horse. The crowd gasps, expecting you to fall. However, you maintain your grip, bringing your mount around the other side of the list, ready for another charge. Well played. We lasted a tilt against Benfrey Lancer. As you close in on your opponent, you see an opening. You deftly guide your lance into strike whilst evading their charge. Hit. No way. Don't tell me we've unhorsed Benfrey Lancer. No chance. There's no chance. Whoa. You expertly struck Lord Benfrey with your lance right in the middle of his breastplate, causing your lance to shatter into 1,000 pieces as he is sent flying from the saddle. The crowd gives a great cheer at your victory and is relieved to see Lord Benfrey is unharmed. No way! How the hell have we just beaten Benfrey Lancer in a joust? At the age of 35, your subject Ella Richards died due to complications during her pregnancy, but she has managed to have... Who's her husband? Sir Ben Lancer, who's one-eyed. Ouch. But they did manage to have the child, Samuel Lancer, so at least she managed to have the child, which is nice. I can't believe we just beat Benfrey Lancer. You have been declared the winner, defeating Lord Benfrey Lancer in a fine joust. No one can beat me. Well, no one should beat you now. A daughter was born to Roman Sevenstar and Melissa, named Yolanda. Yolanda Sevenstar. Oh, I don't know if I like that. It's something different, but I'm not keen. Let's look for a name that we've not... Bella Sevenstar. Yeah, okay, why not? Lord Harry Fyrehands and Sir Alan Oxter were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and breaking lances, Sir Alvin was eventually unhorsed, leaving Lord Harrian to be declared the winner. So here we go. This is Harrian's chance to win a tourney, it would seem. The Tourney Herald announces the competitors of the next joust. You have been drawn against Lord Harry Fyrehands. Here we go. You mount your charge, take a lance from your squire, and ride to the end of the list, as Lord Harrian does likewise. Then on cue, the horses break into a gallop. Steady. Come on. Your opponent got the better of you and you met in the centre of the list. Your lance merely makes a glancing blow. Okay. Is he going to unhorse us or are we going to stay a horse? We've managed to do that quite well. Now, here we go. Lord Harrian Fyrehands' lance strikes you square in the middle of your breastplate, exploding into many pieces as it hits. The force knocks the wind out of you and sends you flying from your horse. You are left lying in the dirt, defeated, as the crowd cheers Lord Harrian. This tournament should be Lord Harrian's to win, surely. Lord Harrian has been declared the winner, eliminating you from the tourney. And... Although I was not triumphant, having been defeated in the final tilts, I still finished an honourable second. I am received warmly as I claim the runners-up purse. Lord Harry II and other knights clapping respectfully. Glory to me, and we gain the trait Knight. I'm guessing it was Harry and Firehand who was knighted us then. Awesome. King Lister of Andalia fulfilled the ambition to become a knight. Perfect. Right. We are now 18. We're still waiting for that bloody infection to go. We finished second in a regional tourney. That's some going, especially considering we unhorsed freaking... what's his name? Benfrey Lancer. See the realm prosper for 5 years, or have a son. Let's get a son first. We want a son. We need a son. Just waiting for that infection. I can't believe we finished second and we got knighted for it. Thank you very much, Harry and Firehand. Thank you indeed. I can't believe how well we actually did there. Very surprised. Harrion was just putting his armour back on the stand when one of his men-at-arms burst into his tent. "My lord, Lord Lancer has been knocked out. He's been struck off his horse by the king," he panted, face red with exertion. The Lord of Barreton turned, locking the man with his unrelenting stare. "Benfrey? Benfrey Lancer? How?" "Yes, Lord Benfrey Lancer. He's been beaten by the king. They both broke their first lances off each other. The king barely held on and struggled back into the saddle before turning again. Mighty tough fella that boy king is. Lord, mighty tough. Then, on the next pass, I don't know exactly what happened, but Benfrey's horse stumbled or something, and his lance missed the king completely. The king's lance held true, though, and struck the bear right in his big old chest. To be fair to Lord Lancer, he held on, but his horse couldn't handle the big fellow, and he wasn't sitting in the right place, and the poor animal fell over." Harrion was stunned. What a gift the gods had given the young king. The scalp of Lord Benfrey the Bear Lancer in a tourney joust. When the lauded general and tourney knight passes and his name turns to legend, the king can tell his children and grandchildren of the day he bested the bear. The faithful lord shook his head. "Crone guide me," he thought to himself. After easily unhorsing the other men in the tourney, he had hoped to face Lord Lancer in the final tilt. Alas, he would be denied another attempt. He would face King Lister instead. Lord Firehand had been following the king's progress as a tourney knight since his first in the fingers. He had seen the boy's skill improve and his courage grow with each passing tourney. The king had thrown himself at the task each time with a commendable grit and determination, which Harrion respected above all else. He had heard that the boy had not yet been knighted. Maybe if he acquitted himself well in the final, he might even offer to do it himself. The day wore on and the final tilt was announced. Lord Harrion Firehand rode out into the list, suited in dark grey steel armour and an imposing barbed helm. His shield bore his house arms, a burning red hand. He trotted to take his place and snapped down his visor. Unheard to the rest of the world, he began reciting scripture in a low tone to focus his mind. Then the king came into the yard and the eruption of applause was deafening. He wore a silver suit of armour trimmed with gold and his visor was down. His shield bore the 7-pointed star of their faith and of his house. King Lister lined up at the opposite end of the list. The men were handed their tourney lances and both men cocked in preparation. At the signal, they were off. The world narrowed to the lance held in front of him, the horse beneath him and the rider facing him. He felt the dull impact of the king's lance striking his shield, just as he felt his lance strike true on the king's breastplate. The king was reeling in his saddle, but pulled himself right for the turn. Tough, thought Harrion. The same blow had unhorsed many lesser men in the past. The next lance struck the king in almost the same spot as the first, this time clearly lifting the king out of his saddle and into the air. Harrion's world expanded again and he heard the cheers of the crowd and felt their adulation. His opposition was on his knees not far from him, grasping, after the blow to the chest knocked the air from his lungs. He walked over and dropped to one knee before him. "My king, you have proven yourself a worthy competitor and a man of virtue. If I might be so bold, it would be a privilege and an honour to knight you here on this very field." The young man before him looked up to meet his gaze. The king's eyes burned with longing, for respect and recognition, and Harrion knew what to do. He stood and drew Dragon Scourge while the king rearranged himself to a more regal and dignified position. "In the name of the father, I charge you to be just. In the name of the mother." After years of careful planning, Alaska Seagrain from the court of Lord Criston of Withered Hearth has raised a large army of exiles, mercenaries and hopefuls declaring her intention to go off and carve out a realm of her own. Well, good luck to you. Good luck to you, my dear. I hope you can do it. Where is she going? Looks like she's marching into the north, which is interesting. She's not currently at war with anyone, so God knows where she's actually going to go to. Ah, she's the wife of the heir of those lands, isn't she? Lord Dainey the Wise has formed an alliance with Lord Hugh of Runestone. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Lord Dainey the Wise has formed an alliance with Lord Yorick the Candid. No, okay, and now I'm getting worried, considering that we turned down his thing. The tourney of Silver Spear has ended. A fine competition. We can now return home. Does Enger yet have his adult picture? Prince Enger? He's not yet 15 by the looks of it. He must be close. 14. Yet to have a child. Be interesting to see what happens. And at age 35, your subject Rosamund Colton died of poor health. That's fine. Not overly bothered about that. Let's forward along a little bit. Pass some time. I have noticed that young Lionel seems to carry a lot of anger around. Lionel Redguard. He should learn temperance. There's a chance of him becoming temperate. I should resist the temptation to intervene. He loses the trait Brooding and gains the trait Wrath. Temperate. Does that give you better stewardship? It does, yes. So we want him to get temperate. And he has. Perfect. Our ward, of course, Lionel Redguard. Your flagship, Enger Hotspur, has given years of good service to the Andalian fleet, but is now aging. It must either be retired or restored at a substantial cost to the treasury. No, she must be kept in the fleet. 115 gold, we'll pay the money. Young Dainies is developing a kind disposition towards others. He should be more charitable. There's a chance he becomes charitable, or he can only be himself. He gains the trait kind. Kind gives him better diplomacy. What does charitable give him? That will lower his... It gives him better diplomacy as well. We're going for... He's got a martial education. But we're his guardian. Can we not change his education? No, so he's got the martial education. Which one would be better? Kind or charitable? He can only be himself. Let's let him have kind. But we can now take him on as a squire, which is cool. So let's do that. Can we also take on... Lionel Redguard as a squire? Yes, we can. Perfect. So let's take those both on as our personal squires for now. Master Byra of Erinford has provided me with proof that he has been viciously slandering me, exposing and denouncing publicly, giving me a reason to arrest him. Harwick. So Ryan Harwick. We'll keep this to ourselves for now because I don't trust the Erinstars anyway. So, yeah, we'll ignore that for now. Lord John of Maidensgate, Lord John the Slow, has died, and now his slow son has taken over, so we've still got a pretty pathetic excuse for the Lord here. Do his sons have slow, Damon and Orson? No, they don't, so we may finally breed that out of the Blue Sevensstars, thank goodness. Still waiting for our infection to fade so that we can go on that foreign tour that we'd like to go on, so there's not a lot we can do. We've had a random Ibonese arrive at the court and then they died. That's just one of those random things that tend to happen for no reason at all. It's just nice to see the realm prospering. I'm not used to Andalia being at peace for so long. We could search for a smith, but I don't really want to waste the money on that. There's not a lot we can do. We've not really got our own plots. There's nothing really plot-wise that I want us to do. There's nothing really plotting about Lister. He's a very kind and gentle lord, isn't he? I can't see him going around making plots. I just want to see what Prince Enger's going to look like now when he turns 15, which is not too far away. Our other brother will soon be able to marry as well, as Owen is only a year younger than Enger. At the age of 44, your subject, Barry Harwick, died of gout. Okay, it's fine. Let's... Oh, High King Lister Sevenstar, I hereby invite you to participate in the grand tourney of Oldcastle, where the finest knights and lords of the realm shall be invited to find out who is the most gallant and able knight. Yes, a chance to prove my worth. We will take part. Is this the inbred guy? Yes, it is. 10 martial. That is really impressive considering he's inbred. So he would have pretty decent martial if not for that. Pretty decent martial indeed. Who is his wife? A Redfort. His wife doesn't seem too bad, considering she's married to an inbred. Your Grace, the Kingdom of the Vale currently has no incumbent separate from the crown. I petition that I should be made the overlord of this region. No, Lord Royce. No, I'm afraid it's a no. I'm not giving it anyone, and if I was, it would be Benfrey. But even then, I'm a little bit worried about giving it Benfrey, because we don't know how Benfrey's sons will be in the future. They could be quite problematic, so we're not going to do it. We're just going to go to this tourney of Old Town, see how we do. I'm waiting for this infection to go so that we can plan our foreign tour. And Bradamir Roseheart has died stillborn, which is a shame. Though I had thought my bodyguard, Sir John Hornbreaker, to be a more reasonable man, his request to be allowed to duel his rival, Quentin Botley, is slightly erratic. Sir John claims to be constantly subject to affronts from his rival and has asked for permission to defend his honour. Disallow it and banish. Disallow it, but take no... allow the duel. Go for it then. You go for it. You want a duel? You go for it. Let's see who won that then. Where his Hornbreaker? He should be in here somewhere. Okay, so Sir John is wounded. So does that mean that it didn't go in his favour? But then I didn't see Botley in here either, though. So maybe he... Here's Anna Botley. Where's her father? Quentin Botley. No, Quentin Botley's not injured, so he must have won the duel then between the two, which is surprising. I wasn't expecting the old 61-year-old Ironborn man to win that, but fair play. Fair play. Lord Ellis of Longbow Hall has formed an alliance with Lord Carl of Iron Oaks, so the Hunters and the Wainwoods, who are both underneath Danes. It'd be nice if they were planning together to overthrow Danes. I am getting very scared of Danes now. Does Enga have his... Yes, finally. Oh, wow. Interesting. Enga has the red hair of Lyanna. Another one. So that's 3 of the 4 children that have reached adulthood so far to receive that red hair. He looks pretty cool, actually, Prince Enga. I'm quite happy with how he looks. But now that he has reached adulthood, Owen isn't going to do it this episode. I think we'll leave this episode here. Oh, Lord Kefin of Stilfen has died of an infected wound. And who's inherited his land? Because he doesn't have any children. So I don't know who his heir is. So I'm going to have a look who's inherited that land. A random house. So we're going to have to remove those and put someone else there for now then, aren't we? But we will end this episode here, as I said, guys. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. I really hope that you've enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below. You know how much I love reading your guys' comments on this series. And hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of Andalia. At long last he had gathered enough support. In the time it had taken for his plans to progress, his hair had gone grey from age, and his children had grown to adults. The majority of the Vale were either vassalised by him, or willing to accept him as their lord. He had swayed lords to his side and subjugated those who would not support him. Yet, still, even after all the support for him, King Lister refused his demand to allow the Vale to choose its own leader. Apparently the king had lost his senses with most of his face. If he would not have Danes as an ally, he would have to face him as an enemy. Perhaps his next ultimatum would come when Andalia sat under threat. Danes would not take another refusal kindly. He was done with working in the shadows and taking land when the crown allowed him to. The Lords Royce and Templeton had sworn to support him in his bid for the Vale, and had added their names and sigils to his on the letter to the king. Yet still he would have to wait for his chance, as he had for all of his life. Danes looked at his reflection and how age had turned the hair and beard to grey. He knew if he did succeed he would not get to enjoy the fruits of his labour for long. They would instead go to his son, his beautiful son, who had been raised on tales of Corbury kings and who Danes had promised the Vale to. In the meantime, more power could be consolidated in the Vale, as he had found reason to conquer the Red Fort Strongsong and even the Eyrie where the bastard Benfrey ruled. He would have to wait for an opportunity. Danes was nothing if not patient, but he wondered how long he could afford to wait. One thing was certain, however. Danes would take no more insults from the boy king or his bastard uncle.